Hello, my name is Lakeisha Williams, and I will be discussing the case conceptualization of Blake. Um, I'll be breaking that down for you, and just so you can get a better understanding, I'll go ahead and read the case conceptualization. So it states Blake is a young, technologically advanced counselor. He encourages his clients to call him or text him at home. He expects to be on call at all times for the good of his client. He has let 5 of the 10 sessions he had in the past 3 days run over time. One client in particular explained that he would lose his car because he couldn't afford the car payment this month, and Blake loaned him the money. Blake has spent many hours on his job than are required to counselor and help his patients. Blake feels like the more he does for his clients, the better he feels. So starting off with the problem identification, Blake appears to be very caring and compassionate. And this attribute can lead to his success in the field, but can also lead to his downfall. Due to his compassion and his care for his clients, his professional boundaries are blurred to the point of currently being non-existent. So, boundaries are very important in the counselor and client relationship. If boundaries aren't set, then things like this can occur. And it says at least half of his sessions go over the designated time, which ultimately pushes everyone else behind, which is not fair to his future clients. And which blurs the lines of his professional relationship, and he has loaned his client $250 to pay for his car payment. He stated that he feels better when he is doing more for his clients, so this can lead him to make some questionable decisions. The code of ethic is basically just stating that it's not necessary to be technology available. Not only does utilizing technology cut into the counselor's personal time, it can also breach confidentiality. Text and other technology should be encrypted in order to prevent hacking and allowing others to read about client concerns. There is always that great possibility that should Blake misplace his phone or just put it down, that for his full client information is now writing it. Anyone can read it or post it online, or a number of personal attacks. So that there's some risk there. There's definitely some risk there. Additionally, Blake has no idea that the person texting him is the original client with whom he covered informed consent. So just because I'm texting you and this is supposed to be your phone doesn't always mean that I'm texting the original person. So that could be some breach of confidentiality. He could divulge critical information across a text that could easily be read by a family member, friend, or even a stranger. So like I said, it's not always a guarantee that the person that's meant to be talked to is the person that's being talked to. Okay, and due to Blake's desire to be available to his clients at all times, that now gives the client the, point of view, or the, it can allow the client to feel that they are more friends than actually counselor and client. And you definitely don't want that. You definitely want the client to feel, that there is a professional relationship there. Okay. And the boundary in counseling is much like a boundary on a piece of land. It's a line that both people recognize and honor. It's a line that says where the relationship begins and ends. You definitely want to know where the relationship begins and ends. You don't want it to clash. Blake would probably benefit from solidifying his professional boundaries with his clients, as one of the many repercussions of his current actions is diminishing the role of counselor, and his current clients may expect this type of behavior from the future counselors as well. So moving on to nature and dimensions of the dilemma. By Blake loaning his $250 for his car payment, the ethical violations are extensive, very extensive. I don't think that I would ever, as a counselor, loan $250 to a client. I'm very giving, but I just think that that wouldn't be professional as a therapist. I think that some things may be worked out. I would probably refer him to maybe some resources or somebody that could help him pay his car payment. But he created a dual relationship the moment he stepped outside of the counselor role and is the role of a loan officer. You know, his client had just learned how to rely on Blake for help in ways beyond the client-counselor relationship. So, I mean, who's to say that in the future, when he gets into trouble again, he won't come back and ask the counselor for more help. So like basically saying the client could now view Blake as a friend who happens to be his counselor, which has significantly blurred the professional line. Like I said earlier, this could also lead to the client to expect other favors from Blake, and this again diminishes the professional relationship. Known as the slippery slope phenomenon, this is an opportunity for professionals who practice poorly defined boundaries to experience an increasing erosion of those questionable boundaries, leading to multiple problems in the future. This type of behavior is not only harmful, but it's not harmful to Blake, but it's harmful to his client as well. So everybody is getting hurt in the process. The code of ethics enforces the safety of clients, and Blake is exhibiting behavior that can result in the contrary. There is a hopeful possibility that once Blake realizes that his actions are actually causing more harm than good, he would cease such behaviors immediately. We would hope that would happen. Okay. So some of the potential courses of actions that I came up with was basically Blake feels his actions are suitable for his supervisor to hear about. Would his supervisor approve of Blake's extending roughly half of his sessions, cutting into time of other clients? Or would he approve of knowing that Blake loaned $250 to a client for any reason? Blake's extension of counseling boundaries cannot be documented in a way that the client would benefit and remain an independent individual. So, I mean, are these some actions that Blake would feel comfortable explaining to his supervisor? No, because he's definitely going to get in trouble. Okay, and the Code of Ethics also addresses the requirements to document the extension of boundaries, and the counselor is obligated to explain why the extensions were granted and how no harm can come to the client in light of the extension. Basically, like I said, he has to document it because that's ethical. But as far as him wanting to tell his supervisor, probably not. So it may be ideal for Blake to undergo counseling for himself. There's nothing wrong with counseling. There's nothing wrong with counselors going to counseling. Actually, it promotes self-care. So I would definitely recommend that for Blake. He obviously has some issues that he needs to work out before he can continue to counsel others. He needs to focus on himself. He needs to realize that everyone has problems and it's okay for them to work out their own problems. He needs to realize that he does not need to come to the rescue every time something goes wrong. That's not what he's there for. You know, he's there to promote change, and there could be some feelings of loneliness and unworthiness. So he may feel that he has to be available for every minute of the day for his clients. He's enforcing the client to have a level of dependability that is exceeding that of normal. If Blake does not get the help that he needs, these are some potential consequences. He can very much do a lot of harm to his clients, even his future clients. He needs to have another look at the code of ethics and familiarize himself with the guidelines that can improve his ability to be successful. He's very compassionate, but he needs to learn for himself where to draw the line. He would benefit from gaining self-esteem as he feels that he needs to make friends with all of his clients. He may be struggling with some inner issues. Counseling is definitely in order for Blake, as well as a refresher course on his ethics. In order to maintain his license and not have to proceed with terminating them from practicing, then these things should definitely be considered. And I would really recommend the self examination for Blake. So I hope that whatever he's going through, he will get some counseling and he will get some help for that. Thank you for listening to my case conceptualization. If you have any questions, then just email me. Thank you so much and have a great day.